Ray Rice was in the midst of a successful career when a video surfaced on the internet, ultimately leading to the downfall of his football career. The video depicted him engaging in a physical altercation with his fiancée. Ray Rice was born on January 22, 1987, in New Rochelle, New York, to Janet Rice and Calvin Reed. Tragically, his father passed away in a drive-by shooting when Ray was just 1 year old. When Ray was 10 years old, his cousin Myshaun Rice-Nichols was killed by a drunk driver. He attended New Rochelle High School, where he played football under coach Lou DiRienzo. Ray emerged as the main running back for the Huguenots. During his sophomore year in 2002, he played a pivotal role in New Rochelle's victory over Iona in the long-standing Turkey Bowl, a game that had been played annually since 1949. As a junior in 2003, Ray led his team to a state championship by defeating Webster Schroeder 32-6 at the Carrier Dome in Syracuse. The following year, in his senior season of 2004, New Rochelle reached the championship game but lost to Christian Brothers Academy 41-35, despite Ray's stellar performance. Throughout his high school football career, New Rochelle High School lost only one game each season. Ray set a state record during a game in 2004 by rushing for 462 yards on 42 carries. Rice attended Rutgers University, New Brunswick, where he played football under coach Greg Schiano from 2005 to 2007. In his freshman year, Rutgers had its first winning season in 13 years and played in just its second bowl game in over a century of football history. The following year, in 2006, the Scarlet Knights had their best season ever, winning 11 games and achieving a national ranking of number 12. As a freshman, Rice became Rutgers' starting tailback and rushed for 1,120 yards and 5 touchdowns. He had standout performances with 217 yards against Connecticut and 195 yards against Cincinnati. In his sophomore year, Rice set a new Rutgers record by rushing for 1,194 yards and scoring 20 touchdowns. His backfield partner, Brian Leonard, decided to stay for his senior year, which helped Rice shine even more. Rice was a finalist for the Maxwell Award and finished 7th in the voting for the Heisman Trophy. He was named Big East Offensive Player of the Week 3 times in 2007, rushing for over 200 yards each time. He capped off his college career with a stellar performance in the Texas Bowl, rushing for 170 yards and leading Rutgers to its first ever bowl victory. During his time at Rutgers, Rice set multiple records, including career rushing touchdowns and single-game rushing yards. His standout performance in the International Bowl in 2008, where he rushed for 280 yards and 4 touchdowns, earned him the MVP award. After the 2007 season, Rice announced he would enter the 2008 NFL Draft, ending his college football career on a high note. Ray Rice was picked by the Baltimore Ravens in the second round of the 2008 NFL Draft, 55th overall. He signed a 4-year deal worth $2,805 million plus a $1.1 million signing bonus. He played under coach John Harbaugh, who was also in his first year with the team. Rice wore number 39 during the preseason, but switched to 27, his college number, after another player was cut. Rice started his first NFL game in Week 1 of the 2008 season against the Cincinnati Bengals. He led the team with 22 carries for 64 yards and had 3 receptions for 19 yards in their 17-10 win, though he did fumble once. His best game was in Week 9 against the Cleveland Browns, where he ran for 154 yards on 21 carries while filling in for an injured teammate. By the end of the season, Rice had 546 rushing yards on 107 carries and 273 receiving yards on 33 receptions. During training camp, Rice was announced as the starting running back for the 2009 NFL season, taking over from Willis McGahee. LaRon McClain switched back to full-time fullback duties. In the season opener against the Kansas City Chiefs, Rice rushed for 108 yards on 19 carries, his second career 100-yard game. In Week 3, he scored his first professional touchdown against the Cleveland Browns. On October 11th, he caught his first touchdown pass against the Cincinnati Bengals. A week later, in Week 6 against the Minnesota Vikings, Rice led the team in both rushing and receiving yards, with 77 rushing yards and 2 touchdowns on 10 carries, and 117 receiving yards on 10 catches, despite a 33-31 loss. In Week 14 against the Detroit Lions, he set career highs with 166 rushing yards and 216 total yards, scoring 1 touchdown. In Week 16 against the Pittsburgh Steelers, he had a career-high 30 carries and gained 141 rushing yards, breaking the Steelers' 32-game streak of not allowing a 100-yard rusher. Rice finished the season with 339 rushing yards and 7 touchdowns on 254 carries, averaging 5.3 yards per carry. He was selected to his first Pro Bowl on December 29, 2009. In the wild card round against the New England Patriots on January 10, 2010, Rice scored an 83-yard touchdown run on the Ravens' first offensive play. This was the longest play for the Ravens that season, the longest rush of his career, and the second longest rush in NFL postseason history. He finished the game with 159 yards and 2 touchdowns, leading the team to a 33-14 victory. In the divisional round loss to the Indianapolis Colts, he had 67 rushing yards on 13 carries and caught 9 passes for 60 yards, but lost a fumble. On December 20, 2010, against the New Orleans Saints, Rice had a career-best 233 yards and scored 2 touchdowns. This performance was the third most in Ravens history, earning him his first AFC Offensive Player of the Week. On January 9, 2011, in the wild card round of the playoffs against the Kansas City Chiefs, Rice became the first Ravens running back to score a receiving touchdown in a playoff game, finishing with 99 scrimmage yards, and a receiving touchdown in the 30-7 win. In the divisional round loss to the Pittsburgh Steelers, he had 64 scrimmage yards and a rushing touchdown. Rice ended the 2010 season with 1,120 rushing yards and 556 receiving yards. He was ranked 56th by his fellow players on the NFL Top 100 Players of 2011. In the 2011 season opener against the Pittsburgh Steelers, Rice rushed for 107 yards and a touchdown, and caught 4 passes for 42 yards and another touchdown in a 35-7 win. This was only the second time since 2009 that a running back gained over 100 yards against the Steelers, both times by Rice. In Week 10, he threw his first career touchdown pass. In Week 13, he ran for 204 yards against the Cleveland Browns, including a 68-yard touchdown. He followed this with 103 rushing yards and a touchdown against the Indianapolis Colts. In Week 17, he rushed for 191 yards and 2 touchdowns against the Cincinnati Bengals, earning AFC Offensive Player of the Week and helping the Ravens win their division. Rice ended the season with 1,364 rushing yards, 12 touchdowns, and 704 receiving yards. He was selected to his second Pro Bowl and the NFL All-Pro team. In the 2012 playoffs, he had 158 yards over 2 games, but didn't score any touchdowns. He was ranked 22nd on the NFL's Top 100 Players of 2012. On July 16, 2012, Rice signed a 5-year, $35 million deal with the Baltimore Ravens after being franchise tagged earlier in the offseason. On November 25, 2012, the Ravens were trailing the San Diego Chargers with less than 2 minutes left. On a 4th and 29 from their own 37-yard line, Joe Flacco threw a short pass to Rice, who dodged defenders to gain 29 yards and secure the first down. This play, called "Hey Diddle Diddle" by fans, helped the Ravens tie the game and win in overtime. Rice was named AFC Offensive Player of the Week and won the GMC Never Say Never Moment of the Week award. He finished the 2012 season with 1,143 rushing yards, 9 rushing touchdowns, 61 receptions, and 478 receiving yards, earning his third Pro Bowl selection. On February 3, 2013, the Ravens won Super Bowl XLVII against the San Francisco 49ers, giving Rice his first Super Bowl ring. In the game, Rice had 20 carries for 59 yards and 4 receptions for 19 yards. He was ranked 13th on the NFL Top 100 Players of 2013. In the 2013 season, Rice struggled with injuries but played in 15 games, averaging a career-low 3.1 yards per carry. His best game was in Week 11, rushing for 131 yards on 25 carries in a loss to the Chicago Bears. He finished the season with 660 rushing yards on 214 carries and 4 touchdowns. While suspended for a domestic violence case, Rice was released by the Ravens on September 8, 2014. After TMZ released a video of the incident, the NFL suspended him indefinitely. The Ravens removed all Rice items from their stores and announced an exchange program. Rice appealed the suspension, arguing that he was being punished twice for the same offense, which violated league rules. On November 28, 2014, he won his appeal and was reinstated in the NFL. On January 15, 2015, Rice and the Ravens settled his lawsuit for $3,529 million in back pay, ending the legal dispute. In 2016, Rice offered to donate his salary to domestic violence charities if signed by a team, but he remained unsigned. In 2018, Rice announced his retirement from football. Talking of his alarming crime, on February 15, 2014, Ray Rice and his fiancée, Janae Palmer, were arrested and charged with assault following a physical altercation at the Revel Casino in Atlantic City, New Jersey. The couple had been heavily drinking, and after an argument, Rice followed Palmer into an elevator. They shouted obscenities at each other, and Palmer appeared to spit in Rice's face before he struck her. On February 19th, TMZ posted a video showing Rice and Palmer hitting each other in the elevator. In the video, Rice punched Palmer in the face, causing her to fall and hit her head on the elevator handrail, rendering her unconscious. He then dragged her out of the elevator. The Ravens called Rice's arrest a serious matter, and the Atlantic County Prosecutor's Office handled the case. On March 27, 2014, a grand jury indicted Rice on third-degree aggravated assault charges, which carried a possible jail sentence of 3 to 5 years and a fine of up to $15,000. Despite this, Rice married Palmer on March 28, 2014, just 6 weeks after the incident. On July 25, 2014, Rice was suspended for the first 2 games of the 2014 NFL season. Later, the criminal charges were dropped after Rice agreed to undergo court-supervised counseling. In a news conference addressing longer suspension lengths for future domestic violence incidents, NFL Commissioner Roger Goodell admitted he didn't get it right when deciding Rice's initial punishment. On September 8, 2014, after a longer video of the incident with audio was shown to the Associated Press by a law enforcement official, the NFL suspended Rice indefinitely. In January 2015, Rice and the Baltimore Ravens settled a grievance he had filed against the NFL for wrongful termination. Rice claimed that the Ravens had imposed a second punishment by terminating his employment weeks after the NFL had already given him a 2-game suspension. Although the exact details of the settlement were not disclosed, it was estimated that Rice received most of his $3.5 million claim. Who would have thought a video could end his career? It just goes to show that the truth eventually comes out, no matter how much it is kept private. As we have reached the end of the video, make sure to subscribe so you get more such content coming up your way. Also, don't forget to comment telling us who you want us to cover next.